In this video, we're going to talk about editing your song. Editing is the process of cleaning up your tracks and even eliminating sounds that you don't want to hear. One editing move by itself may seem subtle, but if you take the time to edit your entire song, it really will make an impact in the end. Now that we're ready to edit, let's take a listen to what we have. This is my first song in GarageBand, and I'm excited now. Alright, so it's sounding pretty decent, but what I hear is some extra noise on the front end of our audio tracks, as well as some instruments that are really out of time. So those are the two main things we're going to look at in this editing video. First, we're going to talk about how to clean up your live audio takes. If I solo out this rhythm guitar and let you take a listen, you'll hear a lot of extra noise on the front end. That is not the kind of noise we want to hear in our recording. If I solo out this lead vocal and let you listen to the end of it, there's a big click here at the end. Now, it may seem like a small thing to have one click here, a little movement and wrestling there, but if you add several clicks up throughout the course of a song and lots of extra noise in the background throughout the course of a song, it can really muddy up your track and just take away from the overall song. So we want to go in and clean these up. Here's how we do it. Simply put your cursor on the end of one of your audio tracks, either the beginning or the end, and it pulls up what we call the editor tool. If I go up, I have what's called the loop tool, but we are going to stick with the editor tool. I click it and I can actually drag and cut off some of that audio that I don't want. So I'm going to go to the front of this track and simply click and drag up and drag off some of that audio that I don't want on all of these. Then I'm going to go to the tail end and clean up my clicks. Now let's have a listen. This is my first song. Alright, a lot better. Let's listen to the end. So there's no clicks and pops here at the end. I might drag this guitar out just a bit. But we've cleaned up all this excess noise on the front end and a bunch of clicks on the tail end. Now that we have our live audio cleaned up, let's move on to MIDI editing. As we saw earlier in this video, some of our MIDI instruments are a bit out of time and they need some adjusting. There's even a couple parts where I hit the wrong note. So we're going to talk about how to adjust the timing of a performance by using a really awesome tool called the quantize feature, as well as how to use the MIDI editor for creative songwriting ideas. To start editing our MIDI parts, let's open up the edit window by clicking the scissor tool in the top left of the screen. That brings up our editor window. You can click here to make it bigger or smaller. And here we have the power to adjust our performance in a lot of really cool different ways. The first way to adjust your performance is by simply clicking on a note and dragging it wherever you want it. I can make it earlier, later. I can even take it to a different pitch. And you can see where that's powerful in songwriting because I may have hit this note, but I want to try it at that note. You can do anything in between. But I want to show you one of the most powerful tools that GarageBand offers, and that is the quantize feature. People, it's time to get excited. This is awesome. So what the quantize feature does is takes this performance right here that's a bit out of time and snaps it onto my metronome grid. How do I do that? It's really simple. I come over here, click on region, and then I go under time quantize, and I'm going to quantize this into 16th notes. And if you'll notice, it just snapped my entire performance onto the grid. So if I click over here again and bring it off quantize, you can see it sliding out of place and sliding back into place. It's taken my whole performance and slid it in time. So let's listen to it with the metronome, solo it, and see how it worked. I don't know if you noticed that, but it snapped every note into perfect timing. Now, if you don't want it to sound exactly perfect, you can pull down the strength of the quantize feature and make it sound more lifelike or real. In my case, I'm going to keep it up. This is an amazing and powerful tool, and it makes songwriting and recording and editing so much faster because you don't have to do 25 takes until you get it perfect. You can get it how you want it and then quantize it to perfection. So now that I've quantized it, I'm going to make a few more edits. I noticed that it actually didn't snap this note back into place because I hit it so far out of time that it snapped it to the nearest grid marker. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that back in place. And now as I move along my project, I can see, whoops, here's an extra note that's not supposed to be there. I highlight it, hit Command X, and it's gone. Highlight it, hit Command X, and it's gone. I can take out those notes that I didn't want. Then here at the end, I was listening and going, you know, I think it needs more to it. I'm going to play it. I would like to double this note in a higher octave. So I'm going to click on it to highlight it, hit Command C, and then Command V, and now I have a duplicate that I can slide anywhere I want to. So I was on a G, I'm going to go up an octave to a G3. Now let's play it. Yeah, it just adds a little something to it. But I also noticed I can't really hear this note. So I'm going to highlight it, come over here to my Notes tab, and take the velocity of this note up. That just means it hits it harder, makes it a bit louder. Now let's listen. Hear that? So how cool are the editing features in GarageBand? You can clean up your tracks and do practically anything you want to your MIDI takes. You can move around notes for creative ideas. You can quantize that piece into place. You can even duplicate notes for more creative ideas. And if that wasn't enough, then you can change the velocity of each note so you can hear it right. As you can see, this is a massive tool that GarageBand offers you, and I highly recommend you get familiar with the editor window.